The top stories tonight in Y News. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. asserts that the International Criminal Court or ICC has no jurisdiction in the Philippines. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. assures that the country will file a case if there is substantial evidence of cyanide fishing in Bajo de Masinloc. Some members of the House of Representatives welcomed the Senate's passage on third and final reading of the proposed measure to raise the salaries of private sector workers by 100 pesos. And we will discover why the widow of Russian opposition leader Alexei Navalny accused Russian President Vladimir Putin of killing her husband. Good evening, Philippines and the world. Today is Tuesday, February 20, 2024. Join us in the next hour as we deliver today's top stories around the Philippines and in other parts of the world. We are also seen in 1,935 satellite monitoring centers nationwide and via live streaming worldwide through the UNTV News and Rescue social media channels. I am Harding Delgado. First in the news. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. stood firm that the International Criminal Court or ICC has no business in the Philippines and that the government does not recognize its jurisdiction in the country. Nelma Ribohok reports.
President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. on Tuesday, February 20, said there is no chance for him to change his mind when it comes to allowing the International Criminal Court or ICC to conduct a probe into the war on drugs of the Duterte administration. In an ambush interview, President Marcos was asked if his stance will change as regards the ICC following the survey result indicating that majority of adult Filipinos, 55%, were in favor of the government cooperating with the ICC probe into the previous administration's drug war.
No. It's not about the evidence. It's about the jurisdiction of the ICC in the Philippines. They can produce as much evidence as they want, but they cannot act upon it in the Philippines. That's the point.
The president emphasized that the ICC has no jurisdiction in the Philippines.
It opens a Pandora's box because again, it's still those questions of jurisdictions and sovereignty that I haven't yet seen a sufficient answer for. And until then, I do not recognize their jurisdiction in the Philippines. I cannot. That seems to be the only logical conclusion that we can come to in that situation.
Asked if he approves ICC's presence in the Philippines, President Marcos said that he does not approve or deny their entry as they haven't done anything illegal, but said that the Philippine government will do something if they commit any violation. He added that the Philippines will remain an open country. Nelma Ribohok, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
The Philippines is willing to file a case against China over the alleged cyanide fishing in Bajo de Masinloc. The Office of the Solicitor General also carefully studies legal options to be taken by the Philippines. Dante Amento tells us why.
President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. revealed on Tuesday, February 20, that the Philippine government will file an appropriate case against China if the evidence suffices. It is over the alleged use of cyanide by Chinese fishermen in Bajo de Masinloc.
Their intent to file a case against China.
If we feel that there is enough ground to do so, we will.
The chief executive stressed there had been reports of cyanide fishing. However, the issue is now alarming.
The best that we know is that there really is, as far as we can tell. Sabi ng BIFAR, talagang merong ginagamit. Meron naman nagsasabi, matagal nang ginagawa yan. And I do know that there are cases of cyanide fishing before, even here in the Philippines. But I think the reason that it has become more alarming is that it has become more prevalent.
Meanwhile, the Office of the Solicitor General, or OSG, is presently studying possible legal options against China over the issue of the West Philippine Sea. Solicitor General, or Solgen Minardo Guevara, said they have to present to the government legal options, but the decision lies with the President. Solgen Guevara stressed any legal action to be taken by the state must be supported by strong, solid, and competent evidence that can stand in the international court. These include possible filing of environmental case against China over the use of cyanide. Meanwhile, in a statement by China's Foreign Ministry spokesperson Mao Ning, she said that the claim for cyanide fishing is sheer fabrication. The Chinese government allegedly gives importance to the protection of the eco-environment and conservation of fishing resources. Dante Amento, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
It would be easier to increase the salaries of employees in the private sector if the economic charter change is passed, according to some House lawmakers. Meanwhile, solons insist that the inclusion of funds for assistance for low-income earners of the ACA program in the national budget for the year 2024 went through due process. Rosalie Cos will tell us why.
Some members of the House of Representatives welcomed the Senate's passage on third and final reading of the proposed measure to raise the salaries of private sector workers by 100 pesos. However, for them, its implementation is a matter of concern.
Ang problema natin is, pag nag-legislate ka kasi, you also have to, it's easier to propose but the question really, the hard question is how to go about it. Do we have the capability?
According to them, 100 pesos may not be sufficient, and it may also affect the country's economy, particularly the possible increase in prices of goods and services, as well as the possibility of forcing small businesses to close. Solons insist that it would be better to pass the economic charter change to make it easier to raise salaries for Filipino workers in the private sector.
Siguro makakamit po natin 350 pesos wage increase easily or even more kapag may mga investor na po tayo from outside. Kapag may mga capital na papasok na po through foreign direct investment.
Ang sana nga po, pag magkasundo na po ang Senate at saka Congress at gumagawa po natin ang trabaho natin with regard to the economic provision. Pag nagkaroon ng investment sana sa mga foreigners ay masasalo nila at matutulungan ang mga enterprises na to para mataas ang sweldo.
Another issue, lawmakers once again reiterated that the allocation of funds for Ayuda sa Kapos ang Kita or ACA program in the national budget for the year 2024 underwent due process. They defended the program after Senator Amy Marcos revealed that funds for the ACA program were deducted from pensions for retired military and uniformed personnel, as well as from the retirement and separation benefits of government employees.
In terms of irregularities, I don't see any reason why some of our counterparts in the Senate are questioning yung process because they themselves affix their signatures.
Paano po natin masasabi na hindi dumaan sa proseso? Kayo nga po ay nag-signify, you showed your intention, you showed your approval of the same by giving that signature.
The GAA was signed on December. It's already almost the end of Feb. Bakit ngayon lang din kino-question to? Di dapat po, especially during the BICAM.
Congressman Gutierrez further challenges those alleging irregularities in the inclusion of the ACA program in the 2024 national budget to thoroughly study and investigate the matter. Deputy Speaker David J.J. Suarez assured the pension of retired government workers and military personnel will continue without deductions. Meanwhile, lawmakers questioned why the House of Representatives is being linked to the issue of the alleged coup in the Senate. Some senators denied the issue of an alleged attempt to oust Senate President Juan Miguel Zubiri. Representatives, on the other hand, questioned why the issue of the alleged leadership change in the Senate is being attributed to the House of Representatives.
So we don't know why this is an issue that connects the House of Representatives when it is purely an administrative decision by the Senate, among the senators, and decision of the majority in the Senate.
I'm similarly surprised na may allegation po nanggagaling yun sa amin. According to some quarters of the Senate, mga congressman lang daw po kami. Napakalakas naman po natin kung makaka-influensya po kami dyan sa upper chamber.
According to Senate Deputy Majority Leader J.V. Ejercito, the issue of the coup in the Senate arose amidst the ongoing conflict between the two chambers of Congress due to the People's Initiative campaign to amend the Constitution. Rosa Licos, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
The deliberation on the Economic Charter Change, or CHACHA, will begin on Wednesday, February 21 at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Specifically, resolution of both Houses Number 7, which aims to amend certain economic provisions of the 1987 Constitution. The House of Representatives will convene as a committee of the whole. This means that all members of the House of Representatives will have the opportunity to participate in the debate regarding the resolution. House Speaker Martin Romualdez will be the chairperson of the Committee of the Whole. Meanwhile, House Majority Leader Manuel Jose Daripe, representative of the 2nd District of Zamboanga, will serve as the senior vice chairperson of the committee. House Senior Deputy Speaker Aurelio Don Gonzales and House Deputy Speaker David J.J. Suarez will be the vice chairpersons.
For the information of the body, the Committee of the Whole shall commence its proceedings tomorrow, Wednesday, February 21, 2024 at 1 o'clock in the afternoon at the plenary hall of the House of Representatives.
Thank you, Majority Leader. Duly noted, Wednesday, February 21, 2024 at 1 o'clock in the afternoon plenary hall of this House.
A lawmaker has welcomed the move in the House of Representatives to file its own version of economic charter change. Senator Sonny Angara explains the House needs to file a counterpart bill for it to be able to adopt the Senate's version. He also calls it a positive development amid the word war between the two chambers of Congress. Angara is leading the Senate deliberations on the resolution of both houses, or RBH number 6, which seeks to amend certain economic provisions of the Constitution.
Sa akin, positive yung pag-file nila ng RBH. Maganda yun dahil imbis na magbangayan, mag-daily press conference na tinitira lang sa natin, mas okay na magkahiring na sila dito sa RBH at pag-usapan dahil sila naman, ang maganda sa mga congressman, they're in their own district, so pwede lang konsultahin yung mga distrito nila.
Vice President and Education Secretary Sara Duterte has responded to allegations raised by a witness regarding the issue of getting a bag of guns from Apollo Quiboloy. In her statement, the Vice President expressed that she is no longer surprised by such attacks on various issues. She underscored that her position serves as a significant obstacle for those harboring aspirations of assuming the presidency. VP Sara emphasized that her commitment to prioritizing her work over issues such as these.
Panahon ngayon ng aking pagtatrabaho. Tutuparin ko ang sinumpaang tungkulin. Uunahin ko ang mga tunay na suliranin. Uunahin ko ang Pilipino.
And for the news abroad, Yulia Navalnaya, the widow of Russian opposition leader Alexei Navalny, accused Russian President Vladimir Putin of killing her husband. She calls on supporters to continue the battle of the opposition leader for a free Russia, as investigations into his death have been extended without specified period. Annie Mancilia will give us the details live. Yes, Annie, good evening.
Good evening, May. In a video released on Monday, February 19, Yulia Navalnaya accused Russian President Vladimir Putin of killing her husband, Alexei Navalny. Moreover, Navalnaya vows not to give up and continue the fight that her husband started, and urges supporters to stand next to her for a free Russia. Navalny, the Russian opposition leader who was serving 19-year jail term on charges of extremism in the IK3 maximum security prison colony in Karp, a town north of the Arctic Circle, died on Friday at age 47. Navalny appeared to be in good condition and cracking jokes just days before leading to the occurrences surrounding
Taliban rulers in Afghanistan refused to attend a meeting invitation from the United Nations or UN in Doha, Qatar, to discuss a range of issues concerning the country. Speaking at a news conference on Monday, February 19, UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres said that he received a letter from the Taliban explaining that their refusal to attend the meeting comes after the United Nations rejected the Taliban's demand to act as the country's sole official representative. Guterres said that their conditions are unacceptable, as it would be similar to acknowledging the Taliban as the country's legitimate government. No other countries or international communities recognize the Taliban as Afghanistan's government. The UN previously expressed that it would almost be impossible, while they are still imposing the ban on female education and employment. The two-day meeting was attended by member states and international envoys to Afghanistan. Guterres will also undertake the process to appoint a UN envoy who will coordinate the Taliban administration and the international community's engagement. He hopes that this would encourage the Taliban to participate in a future meeting. We'll share more global stories with you later, but for now, back to you, Harleen.
Thank you, Maeve. For those watching our live streaming on YouTube, please click the subscribe button you see on your screen and ring the bell for notification. You may also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Several groups from private education sector expressed concern over the proposed amendment in the Constitution relaxing foreign ownership restriction for higher education institutions in the country. In today's hearing on the resolution of both houses number 6, Senator Amy Marcos said that private schools suffered tremendously following the COVID-19 pandemic. Several associations from the private education sector warned lawmakers that this might impact their operations and even the values of the next generation.
We are cautious because if we allow foreign citizens to control, own, and administer the institutions that we are looking at, that may be prejudicial to our Filipino culture, values, moral, and spiritual matters. Baka they may be in danger.
Right now, we are really such a beleaguered sector. Rest assured that there will be some discussions on this moving forward. But right now, really, the private ed sector is in very dire straits.
While we are open to doing collaborative work, especially in research and advancing the use of technology in our schools, we also would like to ensure that our small colleges, especially those who are family-owned, can continue to thrive in this environment.
Senator Sonny Angara, who heads the subcommittee tackling the proposed economic charter change, assures that basic education will remain untouched and that the measure only intends to tackle higher education. Other stakeholders and resource persons from the education sector also highlighted the need to consider both the advantages and disadvantages of such move. However, for former Commission on Higher Education Chairperson Dr. Patricia Licuanan, there's no need to amend the charter, but rather improve the strategic partnership with international institutions.
In my view, partnerships, transfer of technology, sharing technology, but nowhere does it prove to me that ownership is necessary. No to amendments to economic provisions of the 1987 Constitution, and no to foreign ownership of schools. In other words, no to charter change. Let us stop this wasteful and divisive activity and focus on things that really matter before it's too late.
The Department of Education, or DepEd, plans to initiate the pilot run of the revised senior high school curriculum in the next academic year, 2025 to 2026. The agency is also charting a course towards a familiar horizon as it announces intentions to gradually reintroduce the old academic calendar. Jed Nedesina details why.
There is a great possibility that the revised curriculum for the senior high school will be implemented in the school year 2025 to 2026. According to Vice President and Education Secretary Sara Duterte, they are in the process of reviewing the course of study for grades 11 to 12 with the purpose of producing more job-ready graduates.
Ang target pilot natin for the senior high school curriculum is next school year. So that's school year 2025 to 2026 pa. Ang unang-una doon is dahil nasa review pa tayo ng senior high school curriculum, grades 11 and 12, napakahalaga ng input nila doon sa mga skills na gusto nilang makita sa mga senior high school graduates natin, sa mga K-12 graduates natin. Dahil ang intent ang vision ng K-12 program natin ay pagkatapos nila ng basic education ay pwede na silang magtrabaho or employable na sila.
In relation to this, DepEd issued Department Order 003 regarding the gradual return of the old school academic calendar.
As you can see, magiging gradual yung shift ng ating school calendar, no, back to the usual April-May break.
According to DepEd Undersecretary Michael Powa, students' school days will be shortened this school year to gradually return the April to May break.
So ngayon, ang ginawa po natin ay mag-i-end tayo ng May 31, pero mag-start pa rin tayo around July 29. And then slowly, i-move natin siya back until bumalik tayo dun sa normal na April-May break.
POA made sure that this would not affect the children's learning recovery mode because students still have 179 days for this year. Based on the projection of DepEd, by school year 2027 to 2028, classes will be returned to the previous academic calendar.
Well, ang tinitingnan natin around 2026-2027, April na yung last day of class, early April na April 2. So medyo nandun na tayo. But if you want to go to March, I think it will be more school year 27-28.
Yusek Powa added that this is what actually the public wants. So after discussions and thorough planning, the DepEd has decided to start this gradually. Jed Neresina, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
The Land Transportation Office, or LTO, will reconcile its access to the database of Dermalog in order to bring more efficient online services to motorists. JP Nunez will tell us why.
The Land Transportation Office, or LTO, stated that it is worth noting that its online portal, Land Transportation Management System, or LTMS, still lacks 3% of utilization. During the committee hearing on Lower House earlier today, February 20, LTO Chief Assistant Secretary Vigor Mendoza said they can fully utilize the LTMS as its database operator don't give access to the agency. ASEC Mendoza added that if they have access to the database of the Dermalog, they can open more efficient online system like renewal of driver's license.
If we could have access to the database, we could work with the ICT in order to complete the 130 items, and we can do 100% LTMS within the year.
It was the same observation of the Department of Information and Communications Technology, or DICT, which came from their previous technical meeting late last year.
The biggest problem is we found out that a lot of so-called change requests in LTO. And as a technical guy myself, if LTO has the access of the data, they don't need anymore actually to have change request because LTO can do that themselves.
According to Bagong Henerasyon Party List Representative Bernadette Herrera, the German-based IT provider of the LTO, Dermalog, should give the agency an access to their database.
The data is owned by the country, LTO. Because we only use the LTMS, but we paid for it. Hence, the data should be owned by the country. And I don't think it's right to hold it hostage.
In 2 weeks' time, the LTO, DICT, and Dermalog will convene in order to address the remaining issues with regards to access to database of LTMS portal.
I really hope we can sit together after this, together with LTO, and make full usage of LTMS.
Meanwhile, the LTO clarified that there are areas in the country which are still using the system of Stratcom, the previous IT provider of the LTO. It includes the Bangsamoro and the Zamboanga Peninsula. Of these areas, there are no available cashless transaction using LTMS portal. JP Nunez, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
The Quezon City Police District has announced a strategic move to enhance security measures for the upcoming commemoration of the EDSA People Power Revolution on Sunday, February 25. According to QCPD Director, Police Brigadier General Red Maranan, plainclothed policemen will be deployed during the celebration. These officers will discreetly blend into the crowd, bolstering the police presence while ensuring the safety of participants.
Tayo nga ay nakikiusap sa ating mga kababayan na lalahok sa iba't ibang aktibidad na sumunod lang po tayo sa mga alituntunin sa ating mga pinatutupad na security measures sapagkat ito naman hindi para kayo igipitin, hindi para kayo isikilin, kundi para maisigurado lang natin na magiging maayos at mapayapa yung ating aktibidad.
Maranan emphasized that as of now, authorities have not detected any imminent threats for the occasion. He further appealed to protesters to conduct their activities peacefully, fostering an atmosphere of harmony and respect during the significant event.
And in other global news, social media platform X has been inaccessible to the people of Pakistan in the midst of protests battling fraud. Paul Gatchalian will tell us why.
Since Saturday, February 17, social media platform X has been inaccessible in Pakistan, according to internet watchdogs who reported the incident as the country experiences protests against fraud. The national-scale disruption was confirmed by NetBlocks, though government officials have not acknowledged the problems, stating that no restrictions were put in place. Ali Muhammad Khan, formerly the Minister of State for Parliamentary Affairs, posted on X, stating that freedom of speech are constitutional rights, putting the government in a position to be questioned for the violation. In the past few weeks, Pakistan has faced many internet outages at the same time, as virtual events held by former President Imran Khan's party, known as the Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf. Meanwhile, other social media outlets, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, have also been inaccessible in the country, with mobile services also being shut down by authorities during Election Day. Paul Gatchalian, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
Now let's go back to Annie Mancilia, who was providing us with updates on the call of Russian opposition leader Alexei Navalny's widow to supporters. Annie, please go ahead.
Good evening, May. In a video released on Monday, February 19, Yulia Navalnyana accused Russian President Vladimir Putin of killing her husband, Alexei Navalny. Moreover, Navalnyana vows not to give up and continue the fight that her husband started and urges supporters to stand next to her for free Russia. Navalny, the Russian opposition leader who was serving a 19-year jail time on charges of extremism in an IK3 maximum security prison colony in Khark, a town north of the Arctic Circle, died on Friday at age 47. Navalny appeared to be in good condition and cracking jokes just a day before, leading to the occurrences surrounding his death to be questionable. His family were not allowed to see his body 3 days after his death. According to Kira Yarmis, a Navalny family spokesperson, Russian authorities informed the family that his death remains unknown and that investigation has been extended indefinitely. Due to the ambiguity of the death of an opposition leader, many Western leaders, including United States President Joe Biden and European Union Foreign Policy Chief Josep Borrell, held Putin as unaccountable. EU member states are expected to propose sanctions on those responsible. Meanwhile, thousands of people endured the winter temperature in Russia to pay tribute to Navalny by holding ad hoc memorials where over 360 people were arrested. A petition campaign signed by over 50,000 was also launched, demanding the investigation committee to hand over Navalny's body to his family. Back to you, May.
Thank you, Annie Mancilia, live from Singapore. And those are the reasons behind the news in other parts of the globe. I am Mavian Dog, live from Australia. Good evening.
The GSIS Furies, Ombudsman Graft Busters, and AFP Cavaliers emerged victorious as the quarterfinals of the UNTV Cup Season 10 kicked off. Katha Maraos reports.
It was an exhilarating start to the quarterfinals of the UNTV Cup Season 10 at the Nova Desi Convention Center in Quezon City. 6 teams battled it out via a single round robin format where the top 2 teams after this phase will face the SSS Kabalikat and the Department of Agriculture Food Masters in the semifinals. In the first game, the GSIS Fury survived a tight match against the Senate Defenders. Jonathan Pareño led the GSIS offense from start to finish despite nursing an injury. Pareño's stellar performance earned him the title of Best Player of the game, contributing 24 points, 3 rebounds, and 2 steals. Rene Boy Banza also played a crucial role, scoring 6 crucial points in the last 1 minute and 41 seconds to secure the victory, upsetting the Senate with a final score of 74-70. Popoy Banzali also contributed 14 points and 6 boards. Both the GSIS and Senate now hold a 6-6 win-loss record.
You better score on those kinds of shots.
I-watch yung game namin nung first round against yung Senate, and then we made some adjustments and some defensive schemes na kailangan namin gawin. Nasunod naman ng mga players today, kaya we had to win. It was just the heart of the players na gusto nilang manalo. That's why we were successful to get back.
In the second game, the Ombudsman Graft Busters marked their historic appearance in the quarterfinals with a commanding win over the NHA Home Masters with a final score of 94-78. Aldous Paz was named the best player of the game, leading the charge with 21 points, 4 boards, and 2 steals. Both Ombudsman and NHA now stand at a 7-5 win-loss record.
Defense. I mean, hindi ko masasabi kung na-shutdown namin si Bito, pero na-control namin siya. Siya kasi ang barometer ng NHA, When Bito is connecting, everybody connects, So yun ang primarily talaga ginawa namin. So nakita naman, talagang binaksin na namin siya, wala na. Although that's a desperate move, pero yun ang kailangan namin para manalo.
Actually, nasunod. Ang problema natin, nawala kami sa momentum, nawala kami sa focus sa game. So medyo nag-iba na yung mga laro nila. Noong third quarter, dapat nag-adjust na kami. Kaya lang ang daming mga hindi unnecessary foul. So maraming factors na nawala sa focus yung mga player.
In the third game, the AFP Cavaliers avenged their previous loss to the DENR Warriors, defeating them with a final score of 76-73. In the eliminations, the AFP and DENR clashed in a heated battle where the Warriors managed to defeat the Cavaliers with a 5-point advantage, ending with a score of 75-70. Throughout the entire game, both the AFP and DENR showcased intense competition. However, it was a bitter pill for the DENR to swallow as they allowed Boyet Bautista to break free in the last 16 seconds. Bautista seized the opportunity to unleash a crucial shot that shattered the 73-point deadlock.
Difficult pass. Somebody left Boyet Bautista open, and the team will pay for it.
Despite the DENR Warriors' attempts to respond, including 3 additional attempts at the basket, they were thwarted by the tight defense of the AFP Cavaliers. As the buzzer sounded, the final score stood at 76-73 in favor of the AFP. Mark Salupado was hailed as the best player of the game for his stellar performance, amassing 19 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, and 2 steals. With this victory, the AFP improves its record to 9 wins and 3 losses, while the DENR slips to a 75 win-loss record.
Nasunod naman yung game plan namin. Kaso nga, medyo kulang kami ng personnel ngayon. Sinabi lang namin nila Coach Eugene, Coach Jeff, na kailangan wag kami sundot ng sundot. Stay lang kami lagi sa front para at least pagka tumira, lagi kami naka-challenge. Lucky enough na nagawa naman namin.
Well, maganda yung defense din ng AFP. Hats off to them. Talagang naganda din sila sa amin. Although, short-handed din sila, gaya namin, hurting din yung team namin. Well, ang sinabi ko lang sa kanila is yung mindset Kasi sa tingin ko, mental toughness ang kailangan namin. Mahirap kasi coming from a loss kasi nandun pa rin talaga yung And unfortunately, hindi namin na-overcome yun. But lumaban naman yung mga players ng DENR Warriors, kaya congratulations pa rin sa mga players.
Kat Lumaraos, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
And before we close, we will leave you with a word, giving glory to God. From the book of John, chapter 15, verse 4, it says, "Abide in me and I in you, as the branch cannot bear fruit of itself, except it abide in the vine. No more can ye, except ye abide in me." And those are the reasons behind the news, February 20, 2024. Reasons we deliver to you as they unfold. Because we need to know. We will always ask why. I'm Harleen Delgado. We serve the people. We give glory to God.